Welcome to Mind Patterns channel. Have you ever stopped to think about this? We are living in the most connected time in all of human history, yet so many of us have never felt more alone. It's a huge, painful paradox. So today, we're going to break down what loneliness really is, how it literally affects our brains and our bodies, and maybe most importantly, what we can actually do about it. And just to give you a sense of how serious this is, let this sink in for a second. Researchers found that a lack of social connection can be as bad for your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Wow! This isn't just about feeling a little sad, we're talking about a major public health issue. So where is all our time going? Well, here's a pretty big clue. The average American spends more than 7 hours a day looking at a screen. 7 hours? We are plugged in, constantly. But is it the right kind of connection? And that really brings us to the core question we're tackling today. With all of this incredible technology that's supposed to bring us closer together, why do so many of us feel so disconnected? Let's get into it. To really answer that, we first have to get on the same page about what loneliness actually is, and just as important, what it isn't. This is really the heart of the whole paradox. Okay, and this is maybe the most critical distinction we need to make right up front. Loneliness is not the same thing as solitude. Loneliness is that deep, painful feeling you get when the connection you want doesn't match the connection you have. Solitude, on the other hand, is just being alone. And that can be a choice. It can be positive, restorative, even something you look forward to. So, to put it simply, loneliness is totally subjective. It's an internal feeling, a perception. It's that ache that tells you your social needs just aren't being met. And you can feel this in a packed stadium just as easily as you can when you're home by yourself. And this really gets to the heart of the matter. Having thousands of followers online or a huge list of contacts in your phone doesn't make you immune to loneliness. What really, truly matters is the quality, the depth of those relationships, not just the number. So now, let's get into what's happening inside of us when we feel this way. Because the pain of loneliness, it turns out, is not just a metaphor. It's a real biological response that your brain treats as a serious threat. The best way to think about it is like this. Loneliness is a survival signal from our ancestors. Just like hunger tells you, hey, you need to find food, or thirst tells you, you need water now, loneliness is your brain's alarm system screaming that a fundamental human need, that need for real connection, is missing. And when that alarm bell keeps ringing for a long, long time, well, the physical toll is huge. Chronic loneliness can send you into overdrive. We're talking a heightened starts response, increased inflammation throughout your body. It activates the exact same parts of your brain as physical pain, and it can even weaken your immune system. And check this out. This is absolutely incredible. In one study, scientists gave people mild electric shocks. But here's the crazy part. When they were looking at a photo of their partner, they not only said they felt less fear, but brain scans actually showed less activity in their pain centers. Connection is a literal painkiller. How wild is that? So, if we are biologically wired for connection, what is it about our world today that's making it so darn difficult to find? Let's take a look at some of the big external factors that are pushing us apart. I mean, this image just says it all, doesn't it? You can be surrounded by millions of people walking through a busy city and still feel completely, totally invisible. That feeling of being anonymous in a crowd is such a defining part of modern life for so many. And a huge part of this comes down to something we almost never think about: the actual design of our cities and towns. When everything is built around cars, when we lack those great public spaces, the parks, the coffee shops, the libraries, and when neighborhoods just sprawl for miles, it discourages those random spontaneous chats that are the bedrock of community. And of course, we have to talk about social media. It promises connection, right? But often, using it too much does the exact opposite. We end up in this endless comparison game, looking at everyone else's perfect highlight reel, and it can just leave us feeling more isolated and like we're not measuring up. Okay, so that might all sound a little bit bleak, but I promise this is not a hopeless situation. We can, actually, actively design our lives and our world for more connection. So let's flip this around and focus on the solutions. So where on earth do we begin? Well, the journey out of loneliness starts with one simple but very hard step. Just admitting to yourself, I feel lonely, And listen, that is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of incredible courage, and it is the essential first move. Now, to go a little deeper, it helps to understand something psychologists call our internal working model. Basically, it's this unconscious blueprint for relationships that we all develop when we're kids. It shapes what we believe about ourselves, like if we're worthy of love, and whether we think other people can be trusted. If that blueprint is a bit faulty, it can keep us stuck. The social health expert Kazli Killam has a great name for this. She calls it our perception box. And the best part is, we can challenge it. Once we become aware of those negative stories we tell ourselves, no one will like me, or I'll just get hurt again, we can start to rewrite them. And when we change the story, we change our reality. And this isn't just an inside job. On a much bigger scale, we can actually redesign our communities to fight loneliness. Planners can use really cool ideas like narrative urbanism, which basically weaves a town's own stories and history into its design to create a shared sense of identity. Or inclusive design, making sure public spaces are welcoming for absolutely everyone. These aren't just buzzwords, they're real ways to build belonging from the ground up. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If we stop thinking of loneliness as some kind of personal failure and start seeing it for what it is, a biological signal, just like hunger, then what is it telling you? What specific kind of connection is your mind and body asking for right now? Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.